welcome to CNBC TV18 and Lufthansa's special show, All for This One Moment. I'm Sheeren Bhan. Over the next 30 minutes, you get to meet one of India's top business leaders. Scripting a turnaround of an ailing business empire, his is a story of grit, perseverance and passion. Today, rechristened the Avantha Group, Gautam is driving growth across the conglomerate's varied businesses, from paper, heavy engineering to power equipment. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the CEO and Chairman of the Avantha Group, Gautam Thapar. Okay, let me start by what we spoke about you in the introduction there. Yours is really a story of grit, passion, perseverance and determination. It wasn't an easy success story, was it?
Now looking back, piece of cake, but then it was tough. When I started out, believe me, I had no idea where we were going. My only task every morning when I woke up was, I hope I go into office today and don't find another problem on my desk. Starting with the financial ones, which are huge. But, there were business problems as well. And to be able to tackle, revenue, and then to think about how to restructure the business, and then the harder decisions, the people issue, how to let them go, how to do it. So at one point in time, I think 98, 99, it was 3 different businesses, the family settlement, and that's when I felt that, look, this is not going to be, so easy. And whatever my actions may be, the perception was going to be that I have been brought in here for a different role long term, which is never the case. My uncle's real case was, look, I need somebody here. He told me when I decided I wanted to, was deciding about coming back or staying in the US, he just told me, he says, this is a big tree, it can support many dead branches. And then a gentleman by the name of Brijmohan Bakshi, who more than LL Thapar, person who came and basically took me out of whatever. He just sit, listen, took his advice, and I went to see my uncle, and he was just said that, if you're ready to work, sure.
I think what strikes me about Gautam always is his courage to believe in himself, to courage to believe in the people around him, and the courage to do what he believes is right. That's number one. Second, he is very creative. He is not a person who follows the traditional. He's a driver of change.
My view is that, structures are to be broken and reset, all right, okay, and then broken again and reset again. When he puts it like that. I just did what I had to do, I never looked.
So what is the most creative thing that you've done?
Oh, I think that the restructurings of Built, not once but twice, maybe thrice, have been complete out-of-the-box thinking by basically saying that, look, if we're going to do this, the starting point is that it must be fair and equitable to all stakeholders. And then how can we do it? What we did in the last restructuring of Ballarpur has gone down. I know there are about 10 people who are looking at, what have these guys done? To be able to take a part of the business, markets are valuing at, probably 1/4 or 1/5, spin it into a subsidiary, get somebody else to pay, 7 and 8 times what anybody else is willing to pay, take that money, return it all to shareholders, reduce your capital. We achieved, I think, 5 or 6 different things in one stroke. So it was my decision after discussion with my uncle, when he stepped down as chairman, that I said, I will step up as chairman, but I will step down as managing director. And therefore, no group company will have me as the CEO. I'm not somebody who's going to go out there and say, here's $1 billion of shareholder capital, let's go out and do this. In my opinion, we never had the time, at least when I was turning things around, to go and play the regulatory game.
Yeah.
All right, so, telecom is a regulatory game, power is a regulatory game, insurance is a regulatory game.
But I thought you were interested in getting into insurance and the financial services.
We've looked at it.
Is this a good time?
No, we think it's not a good time.
No.
We've looked at it and we've just said, put it on the back burner. Power generation, yes. Again,
you're investing heavily in that,
heavily, cash, good, solid assets, 30 years, solid cash flows. You build a business,
Our viewers' contest question of the week. Whom does Gautam Thapar consider to be his mentor? A. Lalit Mohan Thapar, B. Brijmohan Bakshi, C. Brijmohan Thapar. SMS LH moment space followed by option A, B or C to 52622 and win fabulous gift hampers from Lufthansa.
You have a typical image of a promoter and you till that time, till becoming CEO, I had worked for a professional. So I thought it's going to be a huge gap. And I think
one of the biggest things that a promoter brings, and I think you see this when I look at, especially multinationals, you bring a lot of stability to an executive by ensuring that the largest shareholding block is aligned along with the management. And And I think that's what I keep telling Sudhir, that's what I tell everybody. I say, look, I'm not here to sell.
In fact, something that the two of you have been doing together is really embark on an inorganic growth strategy as far as Crompton Greaves is concerned. And I know that you've said acquisitions are sexy to talk about, difficult to see through, and even more challenging to implement and integrate. Which has been the hardest one for you?
Not actually CG, but in our little food processing company, which has now become it's almost a 800, 900 crore business now. The first acquisition we did was a company 3 times our size, and that has been a struggle. We've now overcome it, and we've done a second one 3 months ago. But that was almost 18 to 20 months of a real struggle. So if I have an opinion, all right, and you're talking to me, I will express that opinion. If you're not talking, but one of the things about my job, I tell people, is that I've learned over time that I am your brother, I am your father, I am your uncle, and I'm also a great actor. I think that a lot of people, and I see this all the time, have not even plumbed 20-30% of the potential they really have. But I think that, it's also a desire to start, creating the group governance structure. It cannot be defined by my personality.
Sure.
It has to be defined by the vision and by the desire and the principles and my ideas.
Yeah.
And I think Sudhir put it to me, which I didn't think of in those days, that, I like to build an institution. If you're looking to do these things because you want concessions, there's something wrong. All right. And we are not doing it because we get a lot of PR out of it.
What I'll compare is he brings a mix of not looking quarter to quarter, but still the numbers should be there. At the same time, a strategic view of building an institution, making a global player, not getting same numbers out of what you are doing today, which is different than what was the earlier view.
Nitesh Shetty, the founding managing director of the Nitesh Group, began his career by selling billboard space in Bangalore. At 23, he ventured into the real estate business by borrowing 5 lakh rupees. Today, this 32-year-old has built a business empire spanning no less than 5 companies operating in diverse fields.
In fact, I just got back from the US the last few days ago, and I think the carnage over there is something terrible. Which is staggering.
It's going to get worse.
And I'm sure in the last 10 years when you built up this wonderful group of yours, you've seen turbulent times, but have you seen something of this sort ever before?
In 98 when the Asian crisis was there, but I think this is a lot bigger. There's so much stuff out there that's kind of difficult sometimes to understand the realities, but the fact is that the world has built up a $4 trillion credit bubble, which is now gone. Basically, liquidity is drying up. Now, on one side, you've got that happening. On the other side, you've got these huge expectations and huge investments. I think in India, the problems are just a little different. So what should not have impacted us has now started impacting us because we've created partly our own problems. We tightened liquidity to the point where, Indian businesses are not getting money. And now you're loosening it. But business and investing, which is something sometimes I think people who sit in different places don't understand, is a lot about sentiment. So when the world is shaky, if you're going to do something that is aggressive and positive, it sends a very different signal. If the world is shaky and you also shake, then no matter what happens, the reactions are going to be different. What we've done in business, and it's something that I think, when the businesses were struggling is what I decided we want to do, is that each business is its own entity. It's funded separately. I just have the holding up here. And what that does is that, a lot of the issues that come when you have multiple divisions are on allocation of capital. So by separating it out and saying, look, whatever it is, if I have to grow the food business or this business, I will fund it from up here. Yeah. The different businesses have very different needs. And you will yourself then turn around and say, look, it doesn't make sense for me. So I have 2 choices. I can split this out and run it as a separate entity, or I can sell it because it doesn't make sense to me anymore, or something like that. But over time, you will find that it's always better to do it that way because each business actually is very different. It requires a different culture.
May I request Harvinder Singh of Lufthansa to please come and present very special mementos to both Gautam Thapar as well as Nitesh Shetty.
Nitesh, we hope you enjoyed your moment as well, and Lufthansa would like to present you with 2 business class round-trip tickets to any Lufthansa destination in Europe.